it's Ryan from Ryan Studios, and I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while. This is my ginormous Lego Hogwarts castle mock. And as you can see, it's very tall, and it's also very long, and it takes up about 3 base plates, or at least 3.5 base plates, and there's also a bit over there too. And I'm just going to be going through this. This is going to take quite a while. First, I'm going to start out with the outside details. And as you can see, there's a path with Voldemort, a Death Eater, and Necros Malfoy on it. In that little hallway right there, you have Neville Longbottom with his Memberall chasing after little Trevor there. You can see that this has an entire bridge. It has the trees, and it also has the stone walls from the 3rd movie. And it also has a tree and a little river. So we have the courtyard, we have the West Tower, which is not the West Tower, but it's the West Tower. So it's called. We also have the Great Hall, and then we also have right there, we have the Gryffinor Common Room, the Herbology Classroom, Dumbledore's office, and we also have like an Astronomy Tower. Okay, now we're gonna get into this. So there's a few mushrooms around there, a spider. There's also a frog on a little lily pad. The water is made up of translucent pieces. We also have the Great Hall, and I know you're about to say, why isn't this in tan? Well, I don't have that many tan pieces to begin with, and that basically this and this is the only thing that really needs to change color. And there's also a bit more mushrooms over there, rock work. And over there, you can see there's a pile of stuff over there. I have a pumpkin patch, there's a bush, a wooden log, and there's also some spiders, a chicken, and Hagrid. So the Herbology Classroom, I'll get into it in a minute. But so we also have right there a fountain on the courtyard. Harry and Ron are talking to each other. Ginny's practicing the Wooden Guardian Leviosa spell on a feather. And you see me right there just walking from the Gryffinor Common Room. But we have the Great Hall, which has a clock tower, and there's the Dementor right there. And then we also have a Thrustrawl right here. This is the 2008 Thrustrawl. I really like this actually. So we also have the turret up there, which you could see the way I used to build it. There's actually a lot of interworks into this. This is scaring me actually. And I used both slopes and plates to give it that effect, which I really like. And I thought it turned out pretty good. So now you can see the Great Hall. There's an owl right there with a letter that still has to deliver. And I'm going to turn that around. Right here, we have tables, there are 3 tables. So there's a bunch of food and drinks on there. Here's the room of requirement. There's also a little ghost right here. And then we have Dobby right here in the kitchen area. Because if you don't know that house elves work in the kitchen of Hogwarts. And by the way, this may have spoilers to some of the Harry Potter books and movies, so if you haven't, I would recommend you leaving the video now unless you don't really care. But we have a sorting hat. I know it's gray, I just don't have a brown hat, so that's what it's used for. It's Gandalf's hat. But there's also 2 axes right there, because there's actually 2 axes behind him for some reason. It was either in the movies or it was just in the 2010 set. I just added that. There's also a little table right here with the map, 2 bottles, and a quill. And then back there you see a bunch of random stuff. There's just a bunch of junk in there, and then you have Harry's invisibility cloak. But yeah, that's it, and the doors actually also function, because I'll show you here. Turn this around, push that, and it kind of opens up. You have to kind of push it a little bit harder for it to come in. I just don't want to break the doors. And then you can easily close them. It's a bit harder to close them, because you usually have to do it at the same time like this. But yeah, clock also rotates when you move the Dementor, so I thought that was kind of cool. So that's it for here. There's also the Slytherin Common Room with Draco. There's a couch, a table, and then there's a bed right there with the Sauron's eye, but I just have it as like a lantern. Then you also have a knight and two skeletons right next to it. And then right here, which is one of my favorite parts. We have Potion Classroom right there, Severus Snape. We have a bunch of potions, there's notes. And you see a bunch of materials. And then back here, it's like the library area. We have Hermione right there looking at a book, and there's also a little note there and a potion. And then right here is a table for Muggle studies, which they have a telephone and a hat. And right here we have a bunch of books, potions, there's a bunch of potions over here, torch, and then there's also a bookcase, which is inspired from the Doctor Strange set. As you can see there, because I did have this set. And then we also have stairs going down. I couldn't find another one of these. I know I have one, but I just don't know what one. Then we also have potions over there, and we also have Susan Bones right there going into the classroom. And then there's a hallway that's leading all the way that way, which connects to where Neville is standing. And then if you're asking where the second part of the bridge goes, so it goes from the Gryffinor Common Room, and then it goes down. It goes down, because there's another stairway. It goes down, and it goes off of there. So that's how they would get from everywhere. The Astronomy Tower, I don't know how you get up there, probably, but then Dumbledore's office, you could just go through there and then come out like that. And you have Flitwick and his classroom, and then you also have Professor Trelawney's classroom. You have the Allery, which has a couple of letters, and then right here's Filch's room, because there's Filch in there. And then you have a broomsticks place where you have the broomsticks. So this is cool. You can also see a big pile of mess over there. You could also see Dumbledore in his office. And a shout out goes to for today goes out to Mr. Preachy, if not it was Peachy. Sorry if I butchered your name. Now, look in there. I don't know if the light's really showing up that well, but there's the trophy that Harry's dad won when he was at Hogwarts. So that's it for under there. I thought that would take a lot longer. We're running at 10 minutes right now. But it's probably not 10 minutes if I've edited it and stuff. And then over here we have the classrooms. So I'm just going to start with this tower right here. We have the Slytherin flag and the Ravenclaw flag. We also have a scope, and then there's also Errol right there, and there's also a little torch so you can see. I also have a bunch of Easter eggs on these little pieces of paper that I used with permanent marker. I don't know if it'll come off, but this says SPEW, and then it says join now. That was a reference to some of the books where Hermione started to call it. There's also this paper, this is chicken scratch, but it says Transfiguration canceled. There's a pirate map right there, so that's not really anything. But then it says DA meeting 7-9. And I don't know what it says under there, but it says Harry Potter. Okay. So that's this classroom. Then under it, I'm just gonna lower you even more. But there's Dumbledore's office. He has an astronomy thing. I don't know what those are really called. But because in the books Dumbledore said he loves astronomy. And then there's a treasure chest with golds and stuff in there. We also have the Sword of Gryffindor. Dumbledore's fell over. There's also a table that has a letter on it. I'm just looking right now, but there's a table with a letter, and he has this little seat there. And then Dumbledore just fell over. That's alright. And then we have the Gryffinor Common Room, which I'll remove in a minute. I kind of have it modular so that it can be removed and all that. And this room I sometimes refer to as as Easter egg mania, because there's so many Easter eggs to all the books and all that. And I also saw a photo. So basically there's a little cupboard that you can open up by removing this tile, and you pop that out and there'd be a bunch of stuff that fell out, but we're gonna look at this. So this one says Daily Prophet, says Harry and Dumbledore lie. It's just a thing that came up, and it says right here, I don't know if this is going to pick up, but it says Lost Charm Book Ron. This one also says Weasley's Wizard Wheezy's Fred FNG, which means Fred and George. This has Dobby Sock on it, and then this says Lost Toad Contact Neville. And then this one says Slug Club Meeting Tonight. And then here there's a bunch of stuff. There's a key, book, which is Tom Riddle's diary, which has the fang of the basilisk in it. This is a gold bar, and then this has the Hogwarts crest on it. There's a suitcase with, I don't remember what I put, some wizard money. I forget what they're called. Snickles, I think. And then there's another one in there. And then over here we have a table. We have with Crookshanks right here. A table, a couch, and a rug right here. Then right here is a Gryffindor banner. We also have some food, cookie. This I don't really know what it is. It might be a potion. This has a, if I remove this, there's like a letter or an envelope. Maybe Harry got a letter from Sirius. Then we have this right here, which is the letter, and then there's a mug. We also have a bed, which has the Marauders map on it. And then there's a couple books back here. A lightsaber is a Star Wars reference, because Star Wars has to be in everything. But I'm just going to put this back together. Now, before I put this back on, I'm just going to show you the Herbology Classroom. You can see there's just a bunch of plants in there. And then there's also a mandrake, and there's also some devil snare. You got Hagrid over there with his chicken. And I basically built the windows sideways, as you can see right there. And it was a really complicated method that took me like a half an hour to figure out. But honestly, the Herbology Classroom is really small. And it also saved me a bunch of rock work, because originally it was back here on this wall. So I basically just moved it, and it looks way better that way, so that I could do something with the inside of this. Cause the only thing I had in here was a couple of rock pieces, because before I did the video, I redid all the rock work, and I basically rearranged the castle. I added the Astronomy Tower, or the astronomy thing on top of there, and I moved that. I basically rebuilt the entire castle, if you could say, except this part here, the bridge, the Great Hall, because I did that way before that. The tower, I just had to redo the cone part right there. Other than that, I basically rebuilt everything, which was actually pretty nice, because it looks way better. And so now I'm going to say my thoughts. I think this is one of my favorite creation that I've ever built in my entire life. At least now. Maybe when I'm older, I would build something way cooler, because I would have more resources. I did not have to order any bricks. I used all of these from my collection. I've been building the Hogwarts castles since maybe 2013, when I got out of Ninjago, because originally of that I had a really crappy city that I never liked, and the towers were like 3 studs thick, so yeah, so basically after that I started making Hogwarts castles when I got into Harry Potter, and then I've kept making castles until 2018 for 5 years. I've had probably over 8 different iterations of the castle. And the first one, if I had a picture of that, oh my god, it's just so bad. I remember having to use like trans blue like cone pieces, and it was just like really, really bad. I thought it's like trying to make the Death Star out of pieces, like green pieces almost, and red pieces. That's how it basically was. But that was years ago. Now I have a pretty decent Hogwarts castle. I hope to keep expanding. And have a great day, guys. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.